Okay, so I'm here with Solomon King Simon with a 3-0 record, looking to make it 4-0 next weekend. Fantastic fighter. I've watched him fight in person loads of times, and I can't wait to see you fight again. How are you? It's just a week out. How are you feeling?
Feel good. Like everything is like the camp has been good. But I don't know if it's magically different. It's just I've been putting in the work like I always do, like always grown. Like I feel significantly better than I was than the last fight, and better than I was the first fight. I feel like I'm growing more and more. But the main thing as well is like showing it in there. I'm just getting better in my head on translating what I know I can do and translating into the cage. I feel like that process is running smoother and smoother for me, and every fight it seems to be picking up that little bit, that little bit. So I'm excited to see what this one's going to be like.
Yeah, so we obviously you're both going in, you're both finishers. You talked about translating what you do in the training room to the cage. I've heard of a lot of people that you always say you've heard them that they're really good in the gym and they don't seem to translate it. Like, what way does that work for you? Is that just a mental thing, do you think? Because obviously in the training room, you're around your teammates, you're drilling, you're doing whatever. Do you think sometimes for people it might be the occasion that might get to them and they can't translate it? Or how did you work it?
Yeah, funny enough, I was listening to Jesus, I don't know if I forget his name. I watched 2,000 of his videos. Gordon Ryan's coach. Oh, oh my God, the jiu-jitsu guy.
Trey
Literally,
Jones.
no, his coach. God, how the fuck did I? My brain is gone, and I haven't even said it yet, right? Well, this is gonna piss me off. I'm gonna have to remember it, because it's gonna piss me off. But no, we were just talking about confidence and how that translates into the cage, because like we know exactly what you're saying. Like we know a lot of people in the gym, like they're killers, and then gets on the big stage and it just doesn't translate as well. And the perspective he has on it is like for sure what I believe as well. Like it's like the techniques that you have or the skill set that you have, like when you're in the training room under there's no pressure on you to fail per se. So like if you're doing something like, and like let's say you're throwing a jab, just something simple, and like every time you throw a jab, like you were getting counted all the time in the training room, it's not a big deal. Okay, like whatever, so you're willing to even throw that technique in the first place. But when you get to, if you're not confident in that technique and then you try to translate it into the arena where there's people watching you, there's pressure, and now there's consequences of failing. Like if you mess that up, you could lose this fight. You mess that up, you could get knocked out, different things like that. If you're not confident enough in your technique, or you haven't practiced it enough, or you don't believe in it enough, you're not going to be confident enough to use that in the arena itself. And this goes to anything. Like, so he was saying something like if you had like 100 techniques and like you were okay at all of them, but and because you're okay at them, once you try to get to the arena side, because you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I could do that, you lose nearly 90% of your technique because you're just not confident enough to use it in there. But even though in the dressing room you're throwing it out there anyway, but you're not willing to translate that in there. And so that's where the confidence comes from, just belief in the skill set that you have, but also like evidence-based belief. Like I've done this very well and I believe I'm good at it and I know I can make it work. Not like, oh, I can make it work sometimes. So in my case, like I've been practicing everything I've been doing over time. Like this has been years of work to get to where I am now. And I've been repeating different things. I've been getting better. And like it's similar enough things, do you know what I mean? Similar, how could I put it? The techniques are not like madly different. Like once it gets to a point, like you know most of what you know is just getting better at it, making it work in different scenarios and whatnot. I felt like I've been put through the ringer enough throughout the years to like be confident in my skill set, to know what I'm doing, to know that I'm good at what I'm doing, and like I've made it work against high level people. So I know like now the only difference is I just have to do that in a public arena, but I've done that thousands of times. I'm good at what I'm doing. So like yeah, long story around that, but I think if you're good at your things and you practice your skills well enough, you should be able to translate it in there. And I've been doing that for years. So I'm just gonna repeat what I've been doing, do it on a bigger stage.
Yeah, you've been around for a long time, especially around the Irish scene. You fought like the who's who, and you could see you improve like over time, even during amateurs. Do you feel those improvements even now? Do you see them in the gym, and can you see the progress you make fight on fight?
fight on fight, like, well, the progress I see is just my translation of my skills is coming out more and more. Like, as in, like, because again, in the gym, like, I feel like I've been feeling good for a good while. Like, I know what I've been able to do for time, but like, it's just the progress I'm seeing is the translation of it in the cage. And like, that's just mad because like, there's so much, I still know that there's so much more I need to learn to the point of whereby I'm like, once all of this things starts to like work together, like as soon as I could bring a technique, bring it straight into the main stage and make it work. Like it's gonna be terrifying for a lot of people to have to face me, but like I'm translating everything really well right now. And like the brain, like the confidence is growing with that. And like when I'm seeing the evidence of what I'm doing in public, and I'm seeing it work, I'm seeing well, what I'm telling myself in my head, I'm proving it out there as well. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is working out. Like the process I'm going through, like it's all working. The systems I have in place, they're all working. The people I have around me, it's all working. My team, it's all working. So yeah, again, like I said, what I'm saying the build is like the translation of my skill set. It's coming out more and more.
Yeah, no, and obviously when you went to pro, you finished off in amateur, you were quite active towards the end. And then when you started in pro, fantastically. Like what you put down your starter, is it all those years of practice? Like you always took the hard fights, you always wanted the international competitions, the best person. Do you put a lot of how you started through the years of training and to a sense your amateur career, the fights you took, the adversity you went through and stuff like that?
For sure. John Danaher. That's his name. John Danaher. That's the guy I was talking about. I am going to flip her if I hadn't remember that. Yeah. So like translating it to the pro side of things, the like on the army, like I just took whatever. Like I didn't really give too much shit because that's again, it's it's a bigger stage of the training room. If we're going to use that as an example, like in the training room, like I said, there's not much consequences in there. I could lose as much as I want. The amateur scene is like a more, obviously still a bit more pressure, a bit more, but it's a bigger version of that. So now I'm able to like practice what I was doing in there. So when I have a chance to fail with no real damage to my career per se, like why not take advantage of that? Go test yourself against all the big boys, test yourself against all the great grapplers, the great strikers, the great whatever. So I know, okay, that works there, that doesn't work there. This is where I start to troubleshoot what I need to do, you know? So on the other side of things, and then another part of that is like I stayed at like lightweight for most of that because like I just didn't want to cut the weight. So I was confident to fight the bigger people and I felt good against them as well. And then going into the featherweight side of things right now, like I feel so like they just don't feel that much to me. Like I've seen, like I've faced giants across the cage, like fucking Dennis Frimpong, for example. Like I'm looking up at that motherfucker, like trying to come at him, like Jesus. So like everyone now, they just look like, ah, look, it's just a body, and I've seen bigger bodies, I've seen stronger bodies. I've like at this early stages of the career as well, like I've seen more skillful bodies. So that would be a lie because that last guy was quite good. I rate him. So, but yeah, I just think I everything I've done, like I've just given me so much confidence, and every time I look back at that, I'm like, you know what, like you've done shit. So like now, like let people start knowing like who you are yourself now. Now I'm just like start taking heads off, start taking scalps, like they say, and that's what I'm doing. 3 man down, a minimum to go.
Yeah, no, like that. Three fights, three finishes. My cameraman Ron would have trained kind of around the same time you were training. And he always said when we watched you at amateur or we were looking at your fights, he always said professional is going to suit Solomon so much more for his style. Did you find that when you transitioned over that like the longer rounds, the elbows, the knees, did you know once you transitioned and especially going down to featherweight that you were going to be a monster to these guys coming into the cage?
Yeah, for sure. Like I like the pro side of things just because there's some people that would take a silly risk in the pro side still. Don't get me wrong, as in like some people but in the army, the thing with it is like with that short time frame, a lot of things people do is that they just sprint, like they just like coming at you. I like having time to see and like judge and then build up off of that. And like I could be on the back foot for a bit just to like gather information on what I'm doing. And but once I have what I need, I will rapidly take you out. But like in 3 minutes, I don't have the same time to do that. But also in 3 minutes, when if you're striking and you start hitting someone, like it's fairly quickly for them to put you up against the fence. And no matter how good you are, like once you're up against the fence, it's gonna take a little while to get the technique right and get yourself up the fence. And like in a 3 minute round, like if you spend 30 seconds like trying to pummel for underhooks, you try to get head position. Before you do, you know, a minute is gone. Like and they've pinned you on the fence for like 1 minute. Now you have to start clawing your way back. So there's a lot of little things like that. But now on the pro side, I have the elbows like used to score my points while I'm on the fence. I mean, the elbows, I have the knees to try and negate some things like that as well. So, yeah, like I do, I think, I think that I like the time. I like having more time to see things. The weapons as well, like very useful. So, like overall, yeah, I would say it suits me better. But I think I'm not the I'm not changing. I haven't changed much drastically. I think the biggest change for me so far, I think, is the time. And you can see that in a lot of their fights as well. Like my first fight, it was like a third round finish. The second one, like a late second round finish, and the third one is always like a late third round finish. Like I will, the longer it goes, the more information I have on you, the more confident I am against you. Like you will get fucked up. So I will see very quickly that most people is probably gonna try to start rushing me, try and take me out that way, which that makes it even that little bit easier because now I have weapons to create crashes that would do a lot more damage than I can do in the armor side of things. Because in the armor side, you just rush me and push me against the fence. But now you can't do that because like you will walk into something that might leave a permanent scar on your face.
Yeah, obviously, if they're coming in to try and rush you, you've got the knees when you're up against the fence. Now you've got the elbow to try and negate and damage them and get them to lose the position. But with your opponent coming up, you both have an equal record. You're both going in with all finishes. Do you research him much, or do you leave that to the coaches and just focus on yourself? Obviously, you'd look a little bit into him, what he's good at, what he's not. But would you leave your coaches do most of the research and kind of game planning?
Yeah, like I like having like good knowledge of my opponents as well. And I've done that with the last three, like my coaches as well. They would watch the videos and like give me tips on this and that. Say like I will focus on this or different things like that. But on my end, for sure, like I watch them. Like I want to know most things about them because again, it's more like I don't. I don't want to go there with just the thought process of what my coaches have seen. I want to know what I've seen as well. And at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to be in there. So the more knowledge I have on that, the better it's going to be. And again, me watching everything, and I mean, like I will try to watch as much of your fights as I can. Like I will freaking put it in slow motion and try to see what you're doing and different things like that. But like all of that doesn't mean much in there. When we're in there, like I have rough ideas on what you're good at or what your go-tos and different things like that. But when we're in there, I have to start gathering information on what the current version of you is as well, which is fine. That's why I like, but that information I have that it gives me like a good idea of like if I'm doing this, this is what it normally does. Is it still doing that while I'm in there? Oh, now I have an answer to it already. Different things like that. So like I like watching my opponents. I like and it's it gives me that little bit more confidence as well going in there that I've seen what most of your main game are. Don't get me wrong, they could come in there and be completely different. But the fact that I know what like you've done most commonly, it's hard to break a habit. And that's the same with myself. I would presume people watching like my shit as well. I'm like I would advise them to be watching my shit because that's the only way you're gonna have an advantage in there. And it makes it difficult nowadays when I'm putting videos out every fucking 5 seconds. But look, that's a different story.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you said when you're in there, you're downloading the information and seeing what they're doing. Like you throw a feint, you see if he's going to move this way, so you can counter with a certain strike. But it's going to be a fantastic fight. You talked about your content. I like you're doing a lot of content recently, like kind of your meals and stuff like that. Your training camp, and I really, really like what you're doing. What made you decide to do kind of like the food sort of things? Would you want to just show people what you go through on a daily basis as a fighter? Because a lot of people see you for the 15 minutes or however long you're in there and think, oh yeah, and they go, oh yeah, there was a camp before that, but they don't realize what you guys sacrifice to live this life because it's not an easy life. You're not getting this massive amount of money. Like, what made you decide to come with the content like that? Because I find it really interesting for one.
Yeah, like what I'm just bringing everything. I'm trying to like even with I have a YouTube channel as well, like Solomon King Simon. Go find it, subscribe and shit. But like and same with Instagram as well. Like what I'm trying to do for myself now really is just document my journey myself. I wanna something I could go back and watch and be like, oh, I lived that life, or like I did that kind of thing like that. Because like you said yourself, the 15 minutes, the fights are gonna be there, they're gonna be the main things people see. But there's a process that got to that. Like the food and the nutrition side of things, I find it quite interesting anyway. Like as in I actually enjoy it, and I studied a good bit of it as well. Like and then I have my strength and conditioning coach now, like Alpha Fitness, like A. John is his name, but like he sends me stuff, and then I just use the information I have with him as well, and then start making food or whatever it is. And, like I enjoy it, so I'm like I'll record it as well, and like it seems to do well sometimes. So I'm like I'll put it out there, but overall, it's how I'm viewing it for myself so far. It's just I want to document my journey. I want to like see like what got me to where I am. Because sometimes I go back on my Instagram and I go and watch just watch some old stuff that I posted. And like I could remember where my mind state was at that point where I posted that video, when I posted that post in general, whatever it is. So I could go back and just reminisce through different things. And like again, it lets me know where I was and where I am now, where I'm gonna be going, different things. Like it's a good documentary for myself. Again, that's how I'm looking at it so far. So we'll see how it goes. And then for sure, like the extra part is like now, like the social media game and all of that is a big part of the sport per se now. So you need to get that following up or get that part of it up as well. So yeah, all of it works together for me. I'm documenting my journey, and then if I grow more out of that, that also puts me in a better position in the future.
Yeah, no, and I like that. I like that you want to look back on it and you see, because like the journey is probably the people always, obviously you want to get to certain stages, UFC, etc. But when you're enjoying the journey like you are kind of and taking it in bit by bit, I think some people try forget that and try and race to the end, whereas it seems like you're enjoying it as it comes, and you've been enjoying it and doing very well. Obviously, you've got this fight ahead of you and you're not looking past your opponent, but if you get another finish here, another one or two more finish, would you be looking at potentially competing for the Cage Warriors featherweight title if you keep going on the run you go? Because surely if you keep finishing people, it's going to have to happen at some stage.
Yeah, no, like that's the goal. Like like the near term goal is to get that Cage Warriors belt. Like so, like I'm just gonna like you said, is that all I have to do is like take out the man in front of me. I keep doing that. Like they have that prize fighter thing as well coming up, which sounds interesting because if I get this out of the way and like if I could jump on that, that potentially gives me two fights, and like that just skyrockets my experience in one night as well. And like because the more like at the moment like 3-0, like I don't really see them being like, oh, we're gonna put a 3-0, 4-0 fight against like someone now for the title or whatnot. But like once my experience starts to go up more and like I'm doing what I'm doing, like I think it will be inevitable. But like I am gonna get there. Like it's not like it's not a question in my mind. It's more of like when I'm gonna do it. So all I have to do, take out this, what's it called? Take out Ian McKenzie right now. Whoever they put on me next, take that out. Like if I could get three fights this year, like I don't see why I can't be calling for the five shots then, you know?
Yeah, so obviously you're quite active as an amateur. You're looking to replicate that then as a professional. But you said something interesting there, that take out obviously the man in front of you. Have you ever at any stage looked past a fighter and it's cost you a fight in your amateur days at any stage?
Mm, I don't think so. Like I don't like look past like I wouldn't say look past people because like I don't think I have the what's it called? I don't even know what word to use with that, but I can't be looking past people because like it's still a dangerous person in front of me either way, amateur or not. Uh, I think sometimes I have some fights booked ahead before, but that's what I mean before the fight I'm fighting now. So that could be like, oh, I'm looking past that person, but all I was trying to do is gather experience. So at any point, I'm not gonna look past anybody. I'm just gonna focus on the present moment, see what's right there. Like I have a plan for the future. I know what I like where I want to get to and things like that. But it's the moment that's gonna get me there. So I just have to focus on what I'm doing right now, what I need to do right now, and that will eventually lead to the end goal. So no, I don't think I've ever looked past someone, and I don't plan on ever doing that. But I do like plan on taking out as many people as I can. So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're going to be looking for all heads to get to that title. But obviously, with the drop down, like you said, you wanted to just fight at lightweight, not cut the weight. And I think that's a better way for an amateur fighter to fight is learn your trade without the weight cut and then kind of use that going towards maybe the end, 2 or 3 fights before the end, just to get your body used to it and get down. I think there's too much weight cutting in amateur to try and get down as much as you can. I think you should just fight, learn to apply your trade, stamp your kind of fight style. But with the featherweight, what's the cut like? Is it good? Is it bad? You have a nutritionist on board because obviously I know you like cooking, so and you said you've researched it and all. So like, what's the weight cut like for you? Is it I don't want to say simple, but is it not too bad?
Yeah, like it's not that bad, genuine. Like the first two, like I was like smaller than I am now. Like and the last fight was probably the biggest I've came into fight with, and like the cut still was the same as the last fight was the same as the first two, like just roughly how it was. And then right now as well, like I just think I'm getting bigger anyway. Well, right now as well, like I said, where my strength and condition coach does this camp, like I have him from like I'm having him for the whole year, even just to like keep routine for the whole year. So like a block of like right now, fight now, outside of fight, I have something to do if it's like strength work or whatever it is. So this will be an interesting year for that. I'm gonna see how that pans out. But like it gives me the calories for the cotton and things. But the right now, like I'm just as big as I was the last fight, and I still feel the same. I don't think it hasn't affected me anyway. Like as in, I do the cut the same way. Sometimes I'm weighing in under the weight that like the last night I think I weighed in at like 143. And the fight was fairly high paced and like I did not feel drained cardio wise, didn't feel everything. So I think obviously it's hard in the sense of like you're freaking dehydrating yourself like mad and all that kind of shit. But I don't think it's been affecting me negatively, which is good. And like I feel like I'm getting better at it as well, which is also very good. So I'm interested to see how it goes throughout the future. And obviously, as time goes on, things to change with that. But right now, feels very comfortable. Don't feel like I'm struggling, and like I don't feel like it's negatively impacting my performance either, which is the biggest part of it. So yeah, it's not bad. Obviously, you're generating yourself, you're sweating fucking hours and starving and shit. But that's just standard.
That that's just part of the game. Obviously, that people everyone's cutting down just to get in that way. And do you feel much stronger in there? Obviously, going down to featherweight, and then obviously you're rehydrating. Do you feel much stronger then against these guys at featherweight? Can you feel that difference?
The first few for sure. I don't. Uh, I feel strong fairly well, like as in against most people. Like in general, like weight classes, whatnot. I just once I grab people, I do feel like I could control them fairly well, and that dehydrated, not dehydrated, in training, outside of training, that kind of thing. Like so, I feel good. So when in the cage, like so far, I haven't felt someone that be like, oh, this guy is like unbelievably strong and like literally throughout my career. So I'm not the strength side. I think I'm a very strong guy. So I'm just gonna take that as a gift or a strength that I have, and I'm gonna keep that in my toolbox and be like, I'll take advantage of it as that. So with the featherweights, like I think it translates a lot more, like as in it's a lot more domineering. I don't know if that's the word, like in the sense of like when your man was shooting against me over and over, like there was some point where he had me on the fence and he tried to drag me up, and I just decided I'm just gonna stand there, and he could not move me, and like wasn't even trying to be too strong. So I'm fairly strong, so I don't. And that's the thing with this guy as well. Like the Ian is like he's a similar from what I'm saying. Like he's a similar style to the last guy I fought, but like he's a smaller guy to him as well, which obviously has its own benefits in the sense of like he might be a little bit faster, which I still think I'm faster than him. Like it might be a little bit like it might get into places that the other guy can't get into because it's bigger in the sense of like just being small, like but it's smaller than the last guy. And I felt so strong against the last guy. So I'm very interested to see how this feels. Again, all of this doesn't mean shit until we get in there. That's when we're gonna actually that's when the truth is actually gonna come out. But yeah, sorry. To answer your question, I do feel strong either way. Like I think it might translate better with the featherweight, but I've always felt strong.
Yeah, no, that's good and good. And we were talking about obviously the arena and the occasion of the event. You're fighting in Dublin again. Like, how does it feel? Because you've got huge following and a huge support within the country. How does it feel walking out in an arena like that, an event like that, and having the crowd and having everyone with you? Because when I was at one of the shows, like there was loads of amateur fighters that I would have known from the scene and stuff, and everyone obviously we're all going to get behind yourself and the Irish fighters. What is that feeling like when you're walking out and you can hear people cheering you and they want you to succeed?
Like it's surreal. Like I just it's unreal. Like in general, like it's a uh, like it sort of like affirms the work you've been doing. Do you know what I mean? Like so it's like that's your chance to like display all the times that you've been like in the gym grinding and all of that. Now like I'm coming out and like my family is there, my friends are there. Like just now I'm like showing them this is what I've been working on. Obviously it's my at the end of the day it's still my own selfish pursuit. But the fact that they're willing to follow me along the journey and like celebrate with me and like all of that, that's like unbelievable. Like, and it gives you that extra bit of like when you're going in there. But saying all of that as well, like one, the closer I'm walking in there, like everything does start to tune out a good bit more. Like it just starts to get a bit more narrow minded in the sense of like this is the job I have to do now. But afterwards, like just getting onto the cage and seeing the people, all of that is like unbelievable. It's like, oh wait, shit! Like there's a lot of people in here. I didn't like realize this is what was going on. But like it's a great experience and like many more to come. And again, like I'm not gonna be doing this forever, obviously. So I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I can.
Yeah, I love your attitude towards the game and towards everything about it, whether it be the good, the bad, the learning, everything. You just seem to take everything and enjoy everything and embrace it as it comes, whether it's the good, the controversial, whatever has happened. You just seem to take it in, learn from it, move and grow. And it's been a pleasure for me to watch it. I wasn't there from the very start, but I caught the last part of your amateur career. It's been a pleasure to watch you grow. It's going to be a pleasure to watch you fight again next week. I'm going to let you go. Is there anything you want to say before you go? Or anyone you want to shout out? And I want to thank you so much for your time because I know you're pushed with time with training and fight week.
Oh god, no, no problem at all, man. Like at this point, like most of the work is done, so I'm just chilling now, so it's all good. Like just shout out to all my sponsors, Emiliano's, like a restaurant, Italian restaurant in Waterford. I haven't been able to go back there for a while now because like cotton and shit. But after this fight, I'm gonna go back and have the best Italian in Waterford. And man, I was got slow and steady oats like in Tremor right now. So like they just came on board. So delighted for them. Delighted to be working with them. My strength and conditioning coach, Alpha Nutrition, we have elite recovery for all my recoveries, like battle ready for my fight gear. Um, 17 entertainment like as well for like just I think they're doing nights out and things like that as well. So there's a few people there, but like just in general, those are the sponsors, and then the main people as well that are pushing you through all of this. Like my teammates down in Waterford, my teammates down in up in Dublin as well. HQ, obviously we have James fighting for the title there now, so like excited to see him bring that belt home. That would be unbelievable. Like yeah, what's good? Jamie is also going to be making his pro debut. Jerry is going to be there. Like, so they, and all we're Paddy, Louis, there's a good few people on the HQ that's been helping me. Back in Waterford, we got Kevin, Sam, Ninja, we got Zav, like David. There's a few people back in Waterford as well that's been helping me through this. Like, I have a massive team. And then obviously the main men themselves, we have Bobby Mead, Gaz Wallace, Andy Ryan. We have, Paul Redzer as well. Like, and so just all the coaches really appreciate them. Aaron, Kevin, Thomas. I could just keep naming random people, but like it's just I appreciate everybody and like for sure my fiance for like keeping up with all my like shit all the time. Like constantly me leaving her alone while I'm going training and like she's just sitting there watching TV and shit. I'm like bored, but it's all good. Appreciate her, love her, and then my unborn child on the way like he's gonna witness he or she, don't know the gender, is gonna witness magic. I'm gonna show him or her this video of the fight afterwards and be like, this is what happened just before you came here, just so you know. But yeah, I thank everybody. Appreciate everybody. Thank you all.
And this is why I think you're probably one of the most liked people. You're one of the most likable people I've ever come across. I want to congratulate on your engagement and the upcoming child. I wish you the best success in your next fight. I can't wait to see you fight, and thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes, thanks very much, then.
Perfect. Thank you.